I welcome everybody to this Entrepreneurs Masterclass, and I am Dr. Neeraj Gupta. So I welcome all the SMEs, and the reason I conduct Entrepreneurs Masterclass for SMEs is because SMEs are the backbone of our economy. They are a major source of employment, and their contribution to the GDP is immense. And actually, today's topic is zero cost, low cost, or post-paid marketing. In entrepreneurship, there are two things which are extremely important. First and foremost is marketing, and the second thing is innovation. So, in these changing times, if the entrepreneur is able to get a grip on these two things, marketing and innovation, then I'm sure that nothing can stop their business from succeeding. Because other fields, they will not change that much. The fundamentals of HR will remain the same. The finance concept, they will also remain the same. But these two things in this unprecedented time needs to be focused and to be pondered on. So yeah, before going into this important concept, I would like to introduce myself. Purpose of introduction is because this session is for you, not for me. Introduction will be very brief, and it is just to show you why I have earned the right to give this session, why I have the ATR to speak on this topic.
Okay.
So here is my brief introduction. So as you know, my name is Dr. Neeraj Gupta. I am an alumni of NIT Bhopal and I am Calcutta. And I have written a bestseller book, The Ninth Habit. And this book has been internationally acclaimed. Even Brian Tracy has read this book and he has given testimonial also for this book. And the people, those who don't know Brian Tracy, he has written 70 plus best-selling books, and he is one of the top 5 trainers and coach on entrepreneurship. Okay, and then I have received honorary doctorate in business administration, entrepreneurship, and then I'm a serial entrepreneur since 10 years. So it is not only that I have the theoretical knowledge, I have practical experience of running enterprises. I know how is the life of an entrepreneur, what problems they face, what challenges they have to go through. And if they are weak in some area, what will be the impact on their business. So I know all those things. And as a business coach, I interact with so many entrepreneurs. So I know what are the weak areas of entrepreneur and what they need to improve, all those things. As I have discussed, I'm an experienced business coach. I've discussed with more than hundreds of entrepreneurs. Yes, and actually, last but not the least, I've contributed immensely to our SMEs in increasing their profits and making their business fundamentally strong. So I did a turnaround. Those were having their business in losses, but right now their businesses are in profit. So ladies and gentlemen, actually here is our topic for today.
Okay.
Postpaid marketing is you are paying the money when you are getting the revenue. So that is postpaid marketing. So as I discussed, that innovation and marketing are two important components of entrepreneurship these days in these changing times. So that is the reason I decided to pick this topic. And in this topic, we will discuss some fundamentals concepts which are timeless and universal. Those will be always helpful to your business. So are you ready? Are you excited to go into detail in this topic?
Yes, I'm curious.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to start this session with a beautiful quote from Philip Kotler. And Philip Kotler, as you know, he is a father of modern marketing. So he has beautifully said that the aim of marketing is to reduce the need for selling. So he rightly said that if our market is excellent, then we have to put less efforts in selling. And with the same level of selling skills, our conversion rate will be higher if we are excellent in marketing. So these are excellent word of wisdom. With the changing times, this is the quote from me. The aim of smart marketing is to reduce not only the need for selling, but also for big budget. Because these days, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot plan for big budget. At least SMEs cannot plan. So we have to come out with smart strategies for marketing. Therefore, this is what I've said. Again, to repeat it, the aim of smart marketing is to reduce not only the need for selling, but also for big budget. So now moving forward. So let us discuss what are the lead generation strategies. As you might know, that there are more than 300 lead generation strategies used all across the business world. And here we are going to discuss the most frequently used, the most popular ones. And then later on, we will deep dive into the low budget, zero budget, and post-paid marketing strategies. Okay, so the first and foremost, this is my favorite, is referrals. Because referrals, as you know, it's a low cost or zero cost marketing strategy. And also the conversion rate is very high in referrals. And the amount of effort that we have to put in converting a client, which we got through referrals, is very less, very low. So the cost is low not only in terms of money, but also in terms of efforts. Yeah, and the second one is WhatsApp marketing. Then the third one is Google Business Listing. So actually, WhatsApp marketing, we'll discuss zero cost marketing strategies here. And for Google Business Listing, it's a low cost marketing strategy, and we'll see in some detail what it is. And then social media marketing, as you know, there are 5 popular social media channels these days. For example, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Insta. And then outsource telemarketing. In outsource telemarketing, what happens is we as an enterprise, we outsource the telemarketing work to other company, and they call the suspects on our behalf, and they try to deliver results to us. Then world walking. The reason it is called as world walking, it is to walk into some premises without taking prior appointment. So it is world walking because courage is required. The rejection rate is high. The decision maker might be busy. So the rejection rate is high in this, and courage is required. That is the reason it is termed as world walking. Yeah, then the strategic partners. We can try to get strategic partners whom we can benefit them by getting business or getting clients for them, and they will also help us in getting clients, and many other ways we can create win-win situations. So that is strategic partners. And our traditional method, print media, newspaper and magazines. And then TV. Yes, TV is a popular one, but it is a very expensive lead generation strategy. For SMEs, anyway, we'll not discuss this. And radio is also high cost. Hoardings, that is also an impactful lead generation strategy, but that is medium budget.
Just to add it here, can you please share some examples on WhatsApp marketing and social media marketing? Will we be able to cover some of them maybe now or later?
Yeah, sure. Yes, I will cover on with some excellent examples of WhatsApp marketing and also on Google Business Listing.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. First and foremost, I would like to discuss this elevator pitch or 7-second introduction. It's an extremely zero cost marketing strategy. What is meant by elevator pitch is when somebody meets you, for example, in an elevator or for a short term on an airport, and the person asks you, what do you do? So then you have to tell in 7 seconds how your business benefits your target customer segment in just few words, ideally in 7 seconds.
Okay.
So that is called elevator pitch. So I will explain that with the help of an example. So here is my elevator pitch. As you know that I am a business coach. So my elevator pitch is when somebody asks me, what do you do? And I tell them, I help SMEs in increasing their profit at least by 68% per year. So then the person becomes curious and they ask me, how do you do it? Some people, they disagree, but I am able to get their attention and the conversation, it progresses further. And actually, as a matter of fact, few months back, I met somebody in an elevator, literally in an elevator, and he asked me, "What do you do?" So I told him that the same thing. I help SMEs in increasing their profit at least by 60% per year. Then the person, he told, it sounds too good to be true. Then I invited him to my office, and then we had a 30-minute discussion. And then he became my paying client because I proved him, I shown him the approaches, the method, how I can help him in increasing his profit at least by 68% per year. So Anand, at this point, yeah, actually you are also a well-known coach. So,
Yep.
so can I know what will be your elevator pitch?
I actually am working on a few different things. Like there is coaching from a NLP background. There is also consulting opportunities that I actually work upon on project management part of strategies. And there is also a IT side of consulting that I actually do in terms of ERP products, typically in Oracle technologies. First of all, I'm curious that do I have to have an elevator pitch for all of these three different areas that I work upon? Is it recommended to have it for all of them?
Okay. Yeah. So the answer to that is you can give elevator pitch for your favorite product or service.
Okay.
And if you know that this customer belongs to that segment, then for that segment you can give your elevator pitch to that person. But if
Okay.
you don't know, if we are totally meeting an unknown person, you can give elevator pitch for your most favorite product.
So it could be something like from a project management consulting standpoint, I help my customer improve their scope, time, cost, and quality factors at least by a margin of 5 to 15% during my consulting with them. So could be one of the examples.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. So at this point, actually, I would like to ask the audience, can you please write an elevator pitch for you? Because it is very important. So if not immediately, you can make a note of it and you write your elevator pitch. Now we'll discuss about Google business listing. So it's an extremely low cost marketing strategies, but I have seen personally for my businesses excellent results. So with the help of an example, I will make you understand what it is if you don't know already. Suppose I am owning a restaurant, and then I will get my restaurant at the top. And when somebody search on the Google restaurants near me, and then my restaurant will come at the top. So I will have higher chances of getting that client.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yes. Here are the advantages of Google business listing. First and foremost, it is a cost-effective marketing strategy, as we have discussed. It's low cost. In a very minor budget, you can get your business at the top for the entire year on Google business listing. Just you need to know some simple steps, and might be if you are delegated it to some professional at a very minor budget, he can keep your company at the top. Yes, and actually it is a pull marketing. So for the people, those who don't know what is pull marketing is marketing strategy when customer is searching for us. We are not behind the customer, because when we are behind the customer, then that is push strategy. For example, if I am giving ad in the newspaper, then it is a part of push strategy. But in case of Google business listing, it is pull strategy, because the reason is customer is searching for us. Customer has a need and he's searching for us. So there will be higher chances of getting the conversion. There are high chances of getting that client.
I certainly agree. So this strategy sounds interesting. So like we put up the information and we pull the interested leads to us.
Yes. Now the third point is, yeah, it is an excellent facility to build testimonials at one place. And the fourth one is it gives us excellent ROI. As we have already discussed, the cost is less and chances of getting clients are very high. So it gives excellent ROI. So any questions on this?
So far, I believe this is good. I will try to experiment a few options around Google business listing and see how it contributes to my consulting business.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
So now I would like to give you one example of WhatsApp marketing. How we can do the WhatsApp marketing literally at zero cost. So
That sounds
actually,
interesting. Yeah, I'm
yes,
curious about
here,
it.
yes, here I would like to explain this with the help of one example. One of my friends
Okay.
has sent me this advertisement. At this point, actually, I would like to ask you, suppose for your car, if you're searching for a good car workshop, then what are the qualities which you will see in the mechanic or a car workshop?
Generally, what I would prefer is the mechanic who is there. He actually is qualified by OEM to do the servicing, such that there is quality of servicing which happens. He generally should use the authentic parts, so not the duplicate produced material, locally produced material. So it is OEM manufactured original parts. But typically, he should not be deceiving us by increasing the problem. So unnecessary problems should not be created. Actually, provide services for actually what parts need servicing. I believe it must be reliable in general. So these are few of the factors I feel I would look into the agency who would provide me services for my car.
Yes, so actually before designing the WhatsApp ads for my friend, I listed down that these are the qualities required for a mechanic. As you already said, that the person should be reliable. He should not be telling unnecessary problems.
Yeah.
And he should provide authentic oil and authentic parts. So if some mechanic is having these qualities, he's providing authentic parts, oil, and he is not exaggerating their problems just to increase his revenue, then we will go for that mechanic, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely. Okay. Yes.
So this is the ad which I designed for my friend. I discovered one good car workshop, reasonably priced, identifies the real issues only, not for increasing his profit, and use authentic oil and parts. I can vouch for this workshop close to, and this is close to our society also. And actually, then I circulated this message to all my society people, and there are 800 members, so there are 800 flats, so there are more than 800 cars in my society.
This is very interesting, but usually there is a doubt that we actually face that whenever we are trying to send any WhatsApp, we don't know what's the assurity that people would help us in terms of circulating it further or into the networks ahead. Can you show some light on this? Yeah.
Okay, that's excellent point. It is excellent point, yes. Because even if we have written an excellent message like this, but then people should also be supporting us in circulating that message. So actually, the people will help us if we have goodwill with them, and if we have emotional bank balance with them, and if we are having good relationship with those people.
Okay.
So therefore, let me discuss what is goodwill.
Okay.
You will have some idea about goodwill, but after going through this session, I'm sure that you will work consciously in increasing the goodwill, and then you will get benefit out of it. Okay, so let us see what is goodwill. So first and foremost, goodwill is the value of the company's brand name. So this is one part of goodwill. For example, Tanishq, they have excellent brand name. So therefore, we can say that they have goodwill in the market. What will be the brand value of Tanishq brand?
Is it in terms of the cost or is it in terms of overall recognition?
Okay, in monetary terms.
You can share more numbers and details.
As for my perception, it will be in thousands of crores, the brand value of Tanishq.
Agreed.
Yeah, because actually, when people buy something from Tanishq, then they are assured that if they are telling this gold is 22 karat, it will not be less. And if Tanishq is claiming about diamond, this diamond is of this much particular carat clarity, then it will be that much. So people can trust Tanishq, and that is the reason even at premium price, people buy from Tanishq. So that is an example of this value of a company's brand name. So it is just one important component of goodwill, and there are other components. We'll see what are those.
Sure.
The next one is solid customer base. So if companies having a solid customer base, and even I'm sure that every company has a customer base, so that customer base also is an important part of goodwill. Means I will explain with one example. I opened one of my business in 2010 and I invested 25 lakhs in interiors and other expenses. When I was planning to sell that business, then somebody offered me that, see, you have spent this much amount in 2010, and I will pay you the cost of depreciated interior assets. But actually, that is a very wrong way to evaluate a value of a company, because the value of companies cannot be measured by just tangible assets. It is measured by intangible assets also. Then I did not agree for that deal. So I'm happy right now. I'm continuing in my own business. Goodwill is an intangible component. Now the third thing is advantageous location. So yeah, if you have advantageous location and because of that location you are getting clients, then that is also a part of goodwill. You might be knowing there are some locations they get business just because of the location only. For example, some restaurant
Agreed.
at railway
Agreed.
stations,
Yes.
or somebody selling even Maggie or boiled at a Kashmir hill, and
Yeah,
they get
absolutely.
client just because of the location.
True.
Okay. Any patents or proprietary technology. So if you have some patents or proprietary technology, then that is also part of goodwill. Even the trademark of your company or some copyrights, those are also part of goodwill. Yeah, and here's the important one: emotional bank balance. So you were asking the question why people will help us in circulating that WhatsApp message,
Exactly. Very
and
true.
the
Yeah.
people will circulate that message if they have emotional bank balance with us. So, what is your understanding of emotional bank balance?
So it's like emotional bank balance is like how better I am connected with the person such that they trust me to pass on my messages ahead. So I would relate bank balance, emotional bank balance accordingly.
You're understanding right, and I would like to explain in other words what is emotional bank balance. Actually, emotional bank balance is the amount of trust which other person has on you. So that is emotional bank balance. It is generated in many manners. For example, if some of my friend is in dire need, and if I help my friend, then that person will have emotional bank balance for me. And when need will come, that person will also help me. And if I am not helping somebody in his need, then that person will, then I'm withdrawing from the emotional bank balance. So, and even in case of enemies, the emotional bank balance is in negative. Yes, so if we have
Perfect.
emotional
Makes
bank
sense. Yeah.
balance with customers, employees, suppliers, and investors, they will help us. And so that is an important point of goodwill.
So first thing is the presentation slide format that you have used. Like it looks to me as a blackboard. That looks nice. And second curious question is about if what about those startup companies or those new initiatives? Typically, the goodwill is not existing for those at the beginning. So at the initial startup time. So how should those people try and build the goodwill?
Okay. Yes. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you for complimenting on this blackboard design. So the reason I have kept it as a blackboard design, even, and the duster is also here, as you can see, because we are discussing something which are timeless.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great.
And the second question is about how to gauge the goodwill for startups and how to increase it. So that I will explain with two examples in the coming slides. I will show you, I will demonstrate to you, I will prove it to you the importance of goodwill with the help of two charts. And actually, these charts are from, or graphs are from real life story. And these, the first chart, it belongs to a sweet shop which is in my locality. And the second chart also belongs to the another sweet shop which is also in the same locality. So two businesses, same locality, but different approach towards goodwill. So we will see how goodwill impacts
Okay.
their business. So here is the first chart. When the sweet shop opened in the beginning, automatically it was having some goodwill. As you asked the question for startups also, so automatically every business will have some goodwill because the friends will be knowing about it, the relatives will be knowing. So we all know that this is the business which is getting opened. It is what it does. And in the case of this sweet shop number one, what they did is they spent a massive amount of money in advertising their shop. So they generated goodwill in the market because a lot of people were knowing about the sweet shop because of the advertising. And actually, the red line, what it indicates the financial contribution by investor divided by revenue. So if the financial contribution of an investor is high, so the overall ratio will go up. It means the investor is putting money from their pocket. And if the revenue is going down, then this ratio will be up. And if the revenue is increasing, then this will be down. So anyway, I will not complicate this financial contribution or revenue matter. Let us take simply as an expense. So we are taking this red line simply as an expense done by the business.
Okay.
So now let us see how their business progresses. So this company, as I said, they did spend massive amount of money in advertising. So they generated some goodwill here at this point. But what happened is they focused only on expensive interiors. Their shop size was big. The rentals were huge, but they did not focus on the quality of their products, of the sweets, of the snacks. So what happened? Initially, they generated goodwill, but when the customers they experienced their sweets, they experienced their other products, namkeen, snacks, and all those things, they generated negative goodwill in the market. And as you might know, a fact of marketing: the more you advertise a bad product, the lesser it will work. So similarly, that happened in this company's case also.
Okay.
With the fulfillment of time, their goodwill was becoming negative and negative. And to get new customers, because they were not getting any repeat clients, they were not getting any referral clients, because the people were having bad experience. So to get new customers, they have to spend money in advertising. So that is the reason their expenses were going up, the goodwill was coming down. So the business was in loss, and they are struggling right now for survival. So have I make it clear the importance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now let us see the positive case. Is the graph number 2. So another sweet shop opened in my locality. 2 shops, same business, same locality. So all other parameters are same, but the approach towards goodwill was different. And this shop, they did not spend too much money on expensive interiors. They just took a decent amount of area also for the shop. They did not took a very big shop. The wise thing which they did is they spent effort, time, and money in improving their products. So that is the reason when somebody was coming to their business, the person was having good experience. So the person was becoming a repeat client. They were providing them automatic referrals. So as you can see in the graph, initially they were having some goodwill, as every business has, and then some people they became their clients. They got the experience of their service and their products as well. So their goodwill was increasing as the time was progressing, and their expenses were coming down because they don't have to spend money in advertising, because the advertising was happening at no cost. So as you can see, then this business was in profit. So I hope with these 2 examples, I made it clear the importance of goodwill.
Yeah, absolutely. It's certain that we can see the distinction between where the people are investing and how goodwill is actually contributing for getting more referrals or more connections and more business opportunities to serve. That's amazing.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So therefore, dear friends, based on the discussion till now, we can certainly conclude with full certainty that goodwill is the major source of profit. So if you can generate goodwill, it's zero cost or low cost marketing strategies. It will give you certainly results in the long term, and your business will be fundamentally strong. So generating goodwill make it as a necessity, make it essential, make it must. Your business will be surviving with the test of time.
Perfect. Okay.
Yes. Now another statement on similar lines, that goodwill only can increase the revenue without increasing the expenses. As we have seen in the case study of those 2 sweet shops, if the business is generating goodwill, then we don't have to increase money in marketing, advertising. So goodwill is the only thing which can increase your revenue without increasing the expenses.
Yeah, I believe that sounds interesting, and this concept I will explore it further and see how I can experiment with enhancing or improving the goodwill factor and try it out for my business.
So yes, so if goodwill is so much important, then we will discuss how to build goodwill And in fact, is a $1 million question, or even it can be a $1 billion question also. So dear friend, now let's see how to build goodwill. So there are many ways to do it. First and foremost is undercommit and over deliver, because if we undercommit and over deliver, then we are building goodwill. For example, one of my friend is a chair manufacturer, and he takes conveyance also from his clients. So, but in some deal, if he does not take the conveyance cost from the client, then he's over delivering them. He's giving them some additional value. So he's building goodwill. And then later on, he can ask some other favors from this client. Referrals he can certainly ask. Okay, and the second point is also on the similar lines. It is exceeding the expectations. So if we can exceed the expectations, not only of our clients, but also of employees, suppliers, and investors, then also we are building goodwill. Yes, now the third important point is focus on giving, be a giver. Givers always gain. So if we focus on giving, we can ask also some favor from that person. For example, if I'm helping my client 4 or 5 times, I'm over delivering him, then I can ask him, okay, you give me reference. So a giver always gains. So here the important point is that we should focus on not on the transaction, but on the relationship. And we should always try to give. And as a matter of friends, I know that any relationship to survive, it has to be a win-win relationship. Because if the relationship becomes win-lose, then it will not survive, especially in business world. So if we want a long relationship with good people, then we have to ensure that the both parties are winning. And then only people will be associated with us for a long time, and they will also get benefit, and we will also get benefit. Next point is very important. We have to make the life of other person better by reducing pain or by increasing pleasure. And friends, as you might know, that every single business of this world is doing one of these 3 things. One, whether they are reducing the pain of their target customer segment. The second thing is, or they increasing the pleasure, or they are doing both, reducing pain and at the same time increasing pleasure. Now I would like to give you some examples here. One of my friend is a very good insurance consultant. So what it does is, he is in a business of reducing pain. For example, if risk occurs and if that risk is covered, so obviously thing which insurance company can take care is on the financial matter. So he's reducing the pain of his clients in that case. And another of my friend is an excellent interior designer. So he's in a job of increasing the pleasure of his target customer segment by giving them good house, a soothing house, a good looking ambience house. So he's in the business of increasing pleasure. So friends, actually every single business is in the business for all these 3 reasons: reducing pain, or increasing pleasure, or both. Which category your business belongs?
Particularly, I would say that it belongs on the both sides of categories, wherein from the coaching and consulting side, I could see that it would mainly reflect upon reducing pain. But as concerned to achieving the results and improving the performance, it could be more towards increasing the pleasure. So it's sort of a combination for both of the sides.
Right, exactly. And even my business is also of both. Sometimes if the business is lost, then I work to do a turnaround to take it into profit. And if the business is already doing good, then I focus on decreasing the time involvement required by the entrepreneurs. So, and preparing a team for him. So the team will be able to take care of whatever task the entrepreneur is doing. At least his task can be reduced, and he will be able to take time for his favorite activities. So
Absolutely.
I also work on both.
Yeah, fantastic.
So dear SME friend, you also think what your business is doing, and then you deliver more to your customer. If you're reducing pain, then reduce more pain. And another example, hospitals, they reduce pain of the clients. And the entertainment parks, they increase the pleasure. Okay, so I hope this point is clear, right? Okay, fantastic. Dan Carnegie also said that if we do genuine appreciation of the people, then we are building goodwill. But here the important point is it should be genuine. Now, how to build repo? See, if we have to build repo with somebody, then we have to find out some element of commonality between us and that other person. It can be common friends. It can be common enemies. I mean, it can be common interest. For example, if I go to, I want to do mountaineering, and if another of my friend, he also likes to do mountaineering, then we will have good rapport. And if we have common role models, I like Narendra Modi, another person also like Narendra Modi, then we have a rapport. We can talk about Narendra Modi. Yeah, and if we have some common goals, common purpose, or common happy memories. So if we have all these things in common, then we can build rapport. So Anand, actually, as you are an NLP expert, can you please throw further light how to build rapport? Because building rapport is very important, because using that we are building goodwill.
It's interesting to build rapport in any of the conversations, as we usually do as part of our NLP programs as one of the foundational skills. So you have already mapped most of the items, like maybe if I identify the common aspects. So it's like if you are in a face-to-face meeting with someone, you would identify your posture, gestures, the mirroring of the image on the reflecting part of it. And maybe you can use your voice, tonality, and the entire set of the facial, shoulder, and entire body expressions. And you would actually need to experiment it, because what works, what does not work, no one has a standard formula for that. So basis to what you communicate and how you communicate, you will be able to identify match and misses. And the more the matching, the more the effect. And I believe that is the way you will be able to have a better rapport with person to gain the trustful conversations at that point in time. So these are some of the inputs I could say.
Yes. Yeah, and last but not the least is to give good referrals to others. Because if we are giving good referrals to other people, then we are building goodwill. And then those people will also reciprocate. They will also give us referrals. So that is also another prominent way of building goodwill. So any questions at this till point of time? Okay.
So I believe so far so good. Yeah.
Okay, great. So Anand, actually you asked one question previously. So here is my answer to this. Actually, based on this discussion, I can safely conclude this point. If you spend your advertising budget on improving your products and services, then you don't have to spend money in advertising. So I would recommend as a business coach that you just half your advertising budget and focus more on improving your products and services. Then your clients, they will become your repeat clients. They will become your referral partners. Your advertising will happen without any cost, at zero cost. So that is, and in this manner, you are building your business fundamentally also strong. So this is a good way of growing the business, right? Okay.
Absolutely, I agree. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. So friend, again to reiterate, because I cannot overemphasize this point. Improve your products and services and put money in that and spend less money in advertising. So now coming to another important point. Now how it is about referrals. So as you know that referrals are a very effective marketing strategies, because they are zero cost or low cost, and also the conversion rate of very high in case of referrals. And actually, as a matter of fact, I got many of my clients, many of my great clients through referrals only. Because if somebody comes through referral, they don't ask a lot of questions. It is very easy to convert them. And in my businesses, I have some clients, those who are constituting 20-30% of my total revenue, only few clients. So such kind of client I've got without spending a penny. I got them through referrals only. And actually, as per one research, 90% of the people, and to be precise, 91% of the people, they want to give you a referral. But only thing is, we have to ask. And most of our entrepreneurs, we don't ask for referrals, and therefore we don't get. So the important point to be pondered is ask and it shall be given, seek and you shall find. So we can say ask for referrals and it shall be given.
Makes sense. Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and this is one beautiful quote from Jack Canfield. That is one of the life fundamental truth states, ask and you shall receive. The essence of this quote is that as part of some of our adulthood experiences, we lose our ability to ask. So therefore, friends, it is very important that we should ask for referrals. And some people will give you, some people will not give you. But anyway, you will get some referrals and some clients at no cost. And as we know that it is very easy for us to convert them. So now moving forward. Okay, so yeah, actually friends, here is my recommendation that you should either get testimonials or you should get either feedback from your clients, and you should have some system in place for this feedback generation mechanism, because from feedback only we can make our products or service better. And if you can get testimonials, then you can put it on Google business listing, you can put them on your website, you can use them in marketing. So it is very important that either you get testimonial or you get feedback from your clients. Both are very useful and you make the best use out of it. If you get testimonials, you use it in marketing, and if you get feedback, you use improving on your products or service. So in this way, you are strong at no cost.
Okay, sure.
So
Yeah.
yes, now here I would like to discuss one very basic concept. What is a stakeholder? So stakeholder is a person whose interests are impacted by the success or failure of your business or your project. For example, for a business, the stakeholder can be a customer or an employee or a supplier or an investor. So these are your major stakeholders. Okay, so friends, actually this is a very important slide. This slide is the heart of this presentation. It is very important for us to know that our stakeholders standing in the middle of our referrals. हमारा जो stakeholder है वो referrals के बीच में खड़ा हुआ है. जैसे देखिए पुणे शहर में मेरे बहुत सारे stakeholders हैं और वो बहुत सारे conversations में involve भी रहते हैं. कोई बोल रहा है कि मुझे ये need है, मुझे painting चाहिए, कोई बोलता है मुझे कोई caterer चाहिए. तो बहुत सारे ऐसे डिस्कशंस होते हैं और हमारे स्टेक होल्डर्स उन डिस्कशंस से गो थ्रू करता है, क्योंकि देखिए हर इंसान की नीड्स होती हैं और जरूरत कौन फुलफिल करता है. हमारे जैसे बिजनेस में कोई सिक्योरिटी प्रोवाइड करता है, कोई रियल एस्टेट प्रोवाइड करता है, कोचिंग प्रोवाइड करता है, कोई पेस्ट कंट्रोल सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करता है, कोई वेबसाइट डेवलपमेंट प्रोवाइड करता है. तो ये मतलब सभी लोगों की बहुत सारी नीड्स हैं. तो हमारा स्टेक होल्डर एक्चुअली इन मिडिल ऑफ द स्टेक. तो यदि हम इन अपॉर्चुनिटीज का बेनिफिट ले सकें तो एट नो कॉस्ट हमें बहुत सारी क्वालिफाइड लीड्स मिलेंगी जो कि बहुत इजीली है कन्वर्ट करना.
The stakeholder remaining at center is quite interesting, in fact. Yeah.
Yes, and actually we see the big picture. यदि हम पूरे शहर का ही बिग पिक्चर देखें तो यहाँ पे मतलब बहुत सारे ऐसे इंटरेक्शंस डेली ऑन रेगुलर बेसिस होते हैं, क्योंकि हर किसी की नीड्स है, किसी को ग्रोसरी चाहिए, किसी को गारमेंट्स चाहिए, कुछ ना कुछ तो लोगों को चाहिए रहता है. तो डिस्कशंस ये होते रहते हैं. So our stakeholder is standing in the middle of the reference. If you see the big picture. और दोस्तों हमारा एक काम होना चाहिए कि हम अपने stakeholders को train करें ताकि वो हमें referral ला के दे सकें, और obviously हमें भी उनका benefit कराना, because as we know that a win-win relationship only can move forward. So now let us see कि हम अपने stakeholders को कैसे train करें कि in getting the referrals. Number one is जैसे देखिए हर कोई बोलता है कि वो कुछ काम नहीं कर सकता. I cannot do this, and some people say I need this or I want this or I don't know. मैं यहाँ पे एग्जाम्पल्स देता हूँ तो उससे बहुत ही क्लियर हो जाएगा. पहला एग्जाम्पल, यदि मैं बोलता हूँ कि मैं अपने बच्चे को खुद ही मैथमेटिक्स नहीं पढ़ा सकता, तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ इट इज अ रेफरल फॉर अ मैथमेटिक्स टीचर. और यदि मैं बोलता हूँ कि आई नीड अ गुड सूट, so it is a referral for a Raymond person or anybody who is in garments business. और यदि मैं बोलता हूँ कि I want a good house, तो वो एक रेफरल हो गया रियल एस्टेट वाले बंदे के लिए. और यदि मैं बोलता हूँ I don't know how to file a GST, या मुझे टैक्सेशन के रूल्स नहीं पता, तो फिर वो एक CA के लिए रेफरल हो गया.
Yeah, I could relate this a lot with so many clients that they have challenges that I am not able to set myself into a rhythm or regular habits. And I have challenges to wake up early in the morning. In professional context, in consulting businesses, people say these problems are too complex and too big, and we as an internal team cannot solve them. So that brings opportunity for maybe coach or a consultant like me, wherein I can pitch in. So I believe those are few of the examples which I could relate easily. So a lot of opportunities I could see here. Yeah.
Right. So actually our stakeholders, if they're attuned to listening this word, I can't, I need, I want, I don't know. Now let us see how to get referrals from your customers. Really, two ways. There can be so many other ways, but we'll discuss two ways. First is to give discount to the customer if they are bringing some customer to you or if they are referring to you. For example, recently I received a mail from Citibank. They told if you are referring me to a new client, I will give you 2,000 cash, or I will put the 2,000 rupees in your account or in your credit card. But the way for Citibank to generate referrals from the customers, even in my business, I give some discount to my referring clients, or I give them some free sittings also to my customers. So giving discount and giving something free motivates our customer, and that helps us in getting referrals.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes, and actually using this approach, I have got so many customers in my business. So now it's your turn, dear entrepreneur. You think how you can get referrals from your customers. So now here, actually, I would like to discuss with you the different kind of clients. As you might know, that Anthony famously said that sensory is the amount of actions which you can make in a given, that is called sensory equity, or that is called intelligence. They live on North Pole, and there are 50 kinds of eyes there. Some eyes can be used in building house, some eyes can be used in building a knife. For us to differentiate and different kind of, I cannot differentiate more than one, but for people to survive, they need that kind of distinction. So friends, actually we should also know that whereas there are so many clients, and we should be able to differentiate between our clients, and we should be able to categorize them. So first, actually, the person is our suspect. For example, in this Pune city, there are thousands of SMEs are there. So every SME is a suspect for me. And suppose if somebody is a painter, then the suspect for that person is every person who's buying a new house, who's getting into your new house. So that is a suspect. And then the next level of progression is person becomes a prospect. I mean, the person comes to know about your business. They have a need. The need is discussed. When the discussion takes place, then the person is prospect. And when after this sales presentation discussion, when the both parties they agree to do business with each other. And now even clients can be differentiated in many kind of clients. One can be low paying client but high referring client. I have seen many clients, those who don't have that financial strength to pay our business a high amount, but they give us high amount of referrals. So these kind of clients are there. In fact, these are a very good client who can give you a lot of referrals. So focus on these kind of clients. Now the next categorization is high paying, low referring clients. These clients not only pay, I mean, these clients pay you high money, but they refer very few clients. Now the next category is high paying and high referring. So these kind of clients are a dream of every entrepreneur, dream of every businessman. So if we have too many clients like this, then our life will be very easy. We have repeat clients, the person who is giving us repeat business. And then we have advocator client. Take example of a caterer. Suppose कोई caterer है, मेरे friend के भाई की शादी है, कुछ arrangement हो चुका है, तो यहाँ पे वो मुझसे क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है, तो मैं रेफर करके अच्छा खाना बनाता है, ये पता है मुझे, तो हियर यहाँ पे मैं उसका एडवोकेटर हो गया. नाउ नेक्स्ट थिंग इज, जब मेरा दोस्त मुझसे पूछता है जिसके भाई की शादी है कि मेरे को केवल कैटरिंग का ही काम रह गया, पर यहाँ पे वो मुझसे स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछ रहा है कि क्या आप किसी कैटर को, लेकिन मैं तब भी अपने दोस्त को पिचिंग करता हूँ यहाँ पे कि एक अच्छा कैटरर है जो आपके भाई की शादी में बहुत अच्छा बना सकता है और आपके मेहमान भी खुश हो जाएंगे. तो यहाँ पे मैं उसका प्रमोट. द नेक्स्ट ऑपरेशन इज, यहाँ पे मतलब मेरे दोस्त के भाई की शादी है, वो मुझसे डिस्कस करता है कि मुझे अभी शादी के सारे अरेंजमेंट करने हैं, तो मैं उससे खुद ही पूछ रहा हूँ कि आपने कैटरर अरेंज किया, तो वो बोलता नहीं किया, और फिर तब वो बोलता तब मैं अपने दोस्त को पिचिंग करता हूँ कि मेरे पास एक अच्छा कैटरर है, तो वो एक क्रिएटर स्टेज हो गया. और यदि आपने लिया, आपके पास बहुत सारे लीड्स आएंगे, क्वालिफाइड लीड्स, और वो बहुत जल्दी कन्वर्ट हो गया और आपको बहुत प्रॉफिट आएगा. यू एग्री?
एब्सोल्युटली.
यस. एंड एक्चुअली हाईएस्ट लेवल ऑफ क्रिएशन कब होगा? तो मैं उसको बोलूंगा कि अपने भाई की शादी करा दे ताकि मैं अपने कैटरर फ्रेंड को रिकमेंड कर सकूं. इस लेवल ऑफ क्रिएटर हो गया. ये है हमारे डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ क्लाइंट्स। तो आपको ये क्लियर होना चाहिए कौन सा क्लाइंट किस कैटेगरी में आ रहा है, और उसको अकॉर्डिंगली आप उससे वैसे स्ट्रेटेजी डिवाइस करके आप उनसे रेफरिंग क्लाइंट्स ले सकते हैं और काफी आप बिजनेस ले सकते हैं। सो हाउ डज दिस स्ट्रेटेजी इज साउंडिंग?
This is in fact good. I like it.
Okay, yeah. So here is my recommendation. Just use this strategy for your business. So this is actually postpaid and low cost advertising, right? Because here we are not paying anything. And now getting referrals from suppliers. So friend, जैसे आपको पता है कि हम काफी लोगों को बिजनेस देते हैं। जैसे मैं अपने सीईओ को 4-5 साल से लगातार बिजनेस देता हूँ, और भी मेरे बहुत सारे ऐसे सप्लायर्स हैं जो उनको मैं बिजनेस देता हूँ। तो मैं उनसे हक से बोल भी सकता हूँ कि आप भी मुझे बिजनेस दिलाइए, और मैं उनको बता सकता हूँ कि आपको ऐसे ऐसे ये ट्रिगर पॉइंट से आपको रेफरल्स के लिए अपना एंटीना ओपन रखना है। और जब आपको ऐसे रेफरल्स आपको एनकाउंटर होते हैं, कोई डिस्कशन ऐसा आता है, तो आप मेरे लिए रेफरल दिला सकते हैं। सिमिलरली हम रेफरल एम्प्लॉय से भी ले सकते हैं, और एम्प्लॉय को से रेफरल लेने का एक बेस्ट तरीका ये है कि हम उनको कुछ इंसेंटिव दें। यदि आप कोई आप क्लाइंट लेके आते हो तो हम माइट भी आपको 10% शेयर कर सकते हैं, या कुछ आप उनको कुछ बेनिफिट दें और वो उनको क्लियर करके रखें, तो वो अपने कॉन्टेक्ट पेयर से भी आपको रेफरल्स लेके आएंगे। और ये इस एडवर्टाइजिंग में अगेन देयर इज नो कॉस्ट। So friends, actually here why I would like to tell you one important point, one concluding point here for the discussion till now. Speak with your results, value creation and actions. Then you have to use very few words in sales presentation and very few rupees in advertising. तो जैसे कि हमने देखा कि जो हमारे क्लाइंट का एक शब्द हमारे सेल्स प्रेजेंटेशन में 100 वर्ड जब हम यूज करेंगे, लेकिन हमारा क्लाइंट मिल लेता है, उस वर्ड्स की कीमत हमारे 100 वर्ड्स से भी ज्यादा है उसके एक वर्ड। डू यू एग्री?
This is a fantastic point. Absolutely, yes.
Yes. तो यदि हम अपने क्लाइंट को अच्छी सर्विस या अच्छे प्रोडक्ट देते हैं और उस एक्सपेक्टेशंस को एक्सीड करते हैं, तो वो हमारे लिए अच्छे वर्ड्स बोलेगा, ब्यूटीफुल वर्ड्स, और उन वर्ड्स से हमें बिजनेस मिलेगा। Okay, so moving forward. So friend, yeah, till now we have discussed this low cost, zero cost and post-paid marketing strategies and how you can make your business fundamentally strong. And just to let you know, this is a book written by me, The Ninth Habit, which it eventually became bestseller, and it is doing internationally acclaimed. Even Brian Tracy had read this, and he has given me testimonial also. And so many people in India also read it. For example, Dr. Mashelkar, who is Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri, he has also read this, and a lot of other celebrities have also read this. So this book is available at the9thhabit.com, and this book will certainly enlighten you on the functioning of entire business world. You just go through and you will be enlightened, and you will earn more profit in your business, and your life will be much better.
I have already grabbed a copy of this book and have been a part of this journey. So it's an interesting book. I would recommend everyone to pick up a copy and go through it. Certainly, there will be great ideas one can see and explore from it.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Anand, for your recommendation. Okay. So friends, yeah, here is my contact information. If you want to get in touch with me, if you want to discuss elevator pitch or on any other aspect, then you can write me an email, or you can WhatsApp me on this number. And this is my website. You can go through it to know more about my services. www.valuecreationcode.com. So yeah, friends, now moving forward. Yes, and actually I have one excellent offer for you, and I'm calling this offer as Unlock Your Business Potential in this lockdown offer. As you know that right now lockdown is going on because of COVID-19. So I am giving this offer to you. That offer is you can discuss with me 90 minutes one-on-one specifically about your business, how to generate more profit, how to make it fundamentally strong, or whatever issues you have on any area of your business. So it will be a customized discussion one-to-one specifically to benefit your business. And the cost is just 999, and I'm sure that it will be a investment. Will not be an expense, because if you do a 90-minute discussion with you, I will ensure that at least you are able to get 1 lakh rupees worth value out of this 90 minutes in the short term and long term.
Sounds great. So I will look forward to connect with you, Dr. Neeraj, and plan for this session. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Okay. Here I would like to touch one more point. So as you know that in any enterprise management, whatever your business, whether you are in a restaurant or travel business or a coach or a Western cold company or whatever business, there are 7 areas of enterprise management: marketing and advertising, sales, finance, accounting, taxation, HR, system and processes, management, and domain knowledge. Domain knowledge is the knowledge about your own business. For example, for a restaurant, it will be how to run a restaurant, how to arrange cook, and all restaurant is specific domain knowledge. So now my next offer is that it is about the full entrepreneurs masterclass. In this masterclass, I will cover 21 sessions on all these aspects of entrepreneurship, on marketing, sales, advertising, finance, accounts, taxation, HR. All the best practices will be discussed with you. तो जैसे कि मैंने पहले भी डिस्कस किया कि मैंने वर्ल्ड के बेस्ट कोचेस से बिजनेस कोचिंग सीखी है और एंटरप्राइज मैनेजमेंट पे बहुत सारे रिसर्च के बाद बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस निकली हैं, तो वो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस आपके बिजनेस में कैसे इंप्लीमेंट करना वो हम डिस्कस करेंगे एंड ऑल द एरियाज. तो एक सब्जेक्ट के ऊपर 3 सेशन रहेंगे, तो ऐसे हमने 6 एरियाज देखे हैं. एक 7th इज डोमेन नॉलेज, तो 6 into 3 18 सेशन उसके हो गए, प्लस 3 इन जनरल एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप करेंगे. And then we will discuss how to increase your profit at least by 68% per year. So this we will also cover in this Entrepreneurs Masterclass. And how to start and succeed in any business. For example, right now I'm a serial entrepreneur. So you can also become a serial entrepreneur. You will develop an eye for acquiring or opening a new business and how to operate it successfully, profitably, and smoothly. You will also have the facility to ask me unlimited number of questions for 2 months, and also you will get membership to my Facebook mastermind group in which other entrepreneurs are there like you, and they keep on asking me questions. I keep on replying to them on Facebook, so you'll get lifetime membership for that as well. So friends, actually the offer for all this is it is just 4 times 9, 9,999. So these are my 2 offers, and so I wish you good luck for your business, and I wish you a profitable, smooth business which has a lot of goodwill. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the session, and it was nice insights to explore through. Appreciate it, Dr. Neeraj. Thank you.